This was the arena, Cleveland's Municipal Stadium, December 29, 1968. For the 80,000 plus who attended, there were many signs that the 1968 championship game would be one of the most memorable in history. The last title game played here was between these same two teams, and Cleveland shut out the Colts 27-0. Like the Colts, this year, Cleveland had not been led by its first-string quarterback, Frank Ryan, but by Bill Nelson, who led them to the Eastern Conference title. Cleveland also had a super runner, Leroy Kelly, who had been unstoppable in every game and was the key to their offense. Their defense was led by a strong young line and an old warrior, past defender Erich Barnes. Barnes would guard this man, Willie Richardson, and his success or failure would be a key to the outcome of the game. Richardson would not be looking to John Unitas for his receptions, but to Earl Morrow, the NFL's most valuable player. But as the Colts warmed up, they had no idea that what was to occur would not be a memorable contest, but rather an execution. Things got off to a foreboding start for the Browns. Lou Michaels' opening kickoff was mishandled by Ben Davis, then barely returned 10 yards before being rocked to the ground by one of the Colts bomb squad. What followed was a scoreless first quarter, but one which set much of the tone for the entire game. The Colts had to contain Leroy Kelly to stop the Browns, and from the outset, it was clear that Kelly and the Browns' great offensive line was in for a long day. The Colts' defensive line and its quick linebackers had been almost invincible against the rush all year, but they saved their biggest effort for the biggest game of the season and stopped Kelly on almost every attempt, from moving through the middle or around the ends. Quarterback Bill Nelson was forced to throw early and often. When he did, Baltimore's secondary covered well. Colt defenders were helped by a strong pass rush, which pressured Nelson all day, and on 4 occasions smothered him for losses. Nelson did have some success passing in the first quarter, mainly to his favorite receiver, Paul Warfield, number 42, who escaped the Colts' complex zone defense twice, but never touched the ball again in the game. But even though Nelson did complete 4 passes in the quarter, one good for 22 yards to his big tight end, Milt Morin, the Cleveland drives were bogged down by costly errors in execution. Backfield and motion penalties nullified some key plays, while another 42-yard field goal attempt was stopped by huge Bubba Smith, who jumped high to block it, and the Colts had forced the first big break of the game, one which Coach Collier said was the turning point of the game. But for the Colts, the turning point of the game came on their first series, when they found that they could run and run well on the Browns' defense. And the man who did most of the legwork was number 41, Tom Matty, the all-purpose back that was to have one of his greatest days. Went to the air soon after his running game was established, but the Colts' first drive ended with this interception by Ben Davis. Late in the quarter, however, Morrow's aerial game went into high gear. He mixed his targets well, calling first on number 28, Jimmy Orr, and then on his speedy flanker, Willie Richardson, number 87, who made his first catch of the game. But the ground game was the key to Baltimore's success today. And behind great blocking, Matty rolled downfield. On this play, watch number 45, fullback Jerry Hill, helped spring Matty for 12 more as the scoreless quarter ended. Now at the 21, Morrow went for Richardson on third down, but the ball was overthrown, and the Colts had to settle for a 27-yard field goal from strong-toed Lou Michaels. It was 3-0 Colts early in the second quarter. The game was not really as close as the score. The Browns would only cross midfield once in the half and seemed extremely flat. Much of the reason, however, was due to Smith, Miller, Bracey and company, who helped flatten them even more. Even their pet plays, like this screen to Kelly, did not break for long gains. And the Colts again took over with good field position on their 40. One of Morrow's pet plays is an end around to John Mackey, and it started the next scoring drive. Mackey is almost a personification of the Colts' invincibility and has been a major reason for their great success. So has veteran Jimmy Orr. Orr's sideline pattern put the ball in the Browns' 17. From the 8, watch center Bill Carey clear an alley for Jerry Hill, who went to the 1. This is the kind of blocking Colt runners received all day. Matty bounced in for the score, and now midway through the quarter, it was 10-0 as Baltimore continued to gather momentum. The Browns mounted a drive from deep in their territory. Nelson was now sending his backs out, and Charlie Haraway was on the end of this pass. But Bracey and Smith stopped another of Cleveland's pet plays, a draw to Kelly, who seemed to be hampered by a muddy field, which negated his quick start. Then Shinnick and Gaubats corralled Haraway on a sweep, as Cleveland gained only 37 yards rushing in the half. On 3rd and 7, Nelson went deep to tight end Morin. But all-pro free safety Rick Volk made a great play, cutting in front of Morin at the last second. Baltimore's defense had made what seemed like another key break. The break was quickly reversed by Cleveland when Mackey took a screen pass. and after rumbling 26 yards, fumbled. And Erich Barnes recovered. On any other day, this would have sparked Nelson and the Browns. But today was a special day for Cleveland, one they would make a special effort to forget. On the very next play, Mike Curtis intercepted a wild throw by Nelson, and this time the Colts moved swiftly in for their third score of the quarter. Tom Matty was slowly piling up yards and honors. Here he added 12 to his mounting total. Then he ran through and around the Browns' defense on a Leroy Kelly-type run that ended in his second touchdown of the game. On the last play, watch the Colt line knife down potential tacklers, as Matty showed everyone that he is far from the garbage runner some have labeled him. 7 more nails went into the coffin, as it was now 17-0. There was still time for a last-minute beat-the-clock score before halftime. However, the only clock Cleveland would beat would be the one to the Showers. Again, a costly motion penalty nullified a long gain. And as the first 30 minutes ran out on this pass to Kelly, it was evident that the Browns were facing a superior team to the one they beat in Baltimore. And that one wasn't exactly weak. The Colts took a 17-point lead into the locker room. While Coach Collier must have felt much colder than he looked, the Colts already were feeling the warm sun of Miami Beach. Now only 30 minutes and a plane ride away. The Browns, who won many games this year in the second half, began today's with their longest drive of the day. Leroy Kelly fought his way through blue jerseys. Then Bill Nelson hit Gary Collins on a look-in pass for a 13-yard first down and Collins' first reception. From Baltimore's 33-yard line, Charlie Haraway broke loose on this rambling romp with several Colts hanging on to put the Browns in scoring position for only the second time all day. Another look at the run shows the jolting style and strength of the 215-pound fullback, who has filled in well for the injured Ernie Green. However, the Browns were called for illegal procedure, and this run, as were so many vital Cleveland gains, was nullified. When a 3rd and 20 pass was incomplete, Don Cockcroft was forced to go for a 50-yard field goal, which was wide. The momentum soon returned to the Colts. Earl Morrill, untouched by enemy hands all day, had to hustle on this play, but despite the pressure, managed to get the pass off complete to Tom Mitchell. Then came one of the crucial plays of the game. Off a play action, Morrill heaved the ball skyward toward a waiting Willie Richardson, who out-jumped 6'3" Erich Barnes for a spectacular catch that put the ball on the Cleveland 5. Another look at this bomb amply displays Richardson's famed leaping ability as he became a hero for the second week in a row. Tom Matty hurled into the end zone. That increased the margin to 24-0, and all but ended Cleveland's hopes for a comeback. The play from the end zone camera reveals a key block by number 45, Jerry Hill. Hoping to generate some spark in his team, Coach Blanton Collier sent Frank Ryan into the game at quarterback to replace Bill Nelson. On his very first play, Ryan lost the handle on the center snap, and Don Shinnick gratefully fell on the ball for a Colts recovery on the Browns' 20. The ground camera shows Ryan never had a good grip on the ball. The game was slipping even further away from the Cleveland coach and his team. Tom Matty, on an option pass, decided to run rather than throw, and he managed to get a few extra yards on a play in which the Browns lost their big defensive tackle, number 69, Jim Kinnicky, who was injured when hit by his own man. The other half of the Baltimore running combo, Jerry Hill, then drove over left guard for 13 yards and another first down as the third quarter ended. Morrow's on-target pass to Mackey in the end zone was ruined by Jim Houston, who seemed to distract the Colt tight end, who was one-on-one with the linebacker. Baltimore settled for 3 points on Lou Michaels' field goal from the 10-yard line. Score now, Baltimore 27, Cleveland nothing. Ryan went to the man Bill Nelson utilized so well this year, Milt Morin, who hauled it in for 9 yards. But just when they seemed to be on the verge of success, Cleveland stalled. Ryan was hit from the blind side by Fred Miller. Kelly picked up the loose ball and for a moment appeared to be heading places on a freelance basis. Let's take a look at this extraordinary play from the ground camera as former star quarterback Ryan continued to be plagued by ill fortune. Ryan came right back to Morin over the middle for another first down. But another pass to the young tight end wasn't as profitable. On a 3rd and long yardage situation, Ryan was decked by Ordell Bracey, who played perhaps his finest game of the season at defensive end. The Browns' threat was ended. A repeat of this play shows that number 85, a jumping Roy Hilton, obstructed the quarterback's view. Those tactics by the 6'6" defensive end enabled Bracey to get to Ryan. Then Baltimore ate up most of the remaining time in the 4th quarter using the abilities of a native Clevelander and a showbiz personality, Tom Matty and Timmy Brown. Willie Richardson once again made the big play on this successful crossover pattern, good for 28 important yards. A repeat reveals an excellent fake to set back Brown, drew the Cleveland defense in, and left Richardson in a one-on-one situation with his defender. The Cleveland defense asserted itself for the first time in a while when number 56, first-year middle linebacker Bob Matheson, personally took charge of the next 2 plays. He stopped Brown for a negligible gain, then knifed through to nab Terry Cole on a screen right. Lou Michaels went for the field goal and missed, but the Browns were called offside, and instead Baltimore had a first down, as once again penalties hampered Cleveland's effort. Former Eagle Tim Brown was quick to accept the gift as he scampered over right tackle for the TD to climax a time-consuming drive to bring the score to a whopping 34-0. On the touchdown, behind number 62, Glenn Ressler, Brown put the light out on the Browns' hopes. They had the ball once more before it was officially over, but again they failed to move the football. The final score was Baltimore 34, Cleveland nothing, in a game that closely paralleled the championship contest of 1964. In both games, one team thoroughly dominated the other with a shutout. And once again, the teams were coached by a teacher and his former pupil. Don Shula served with Collier at Kentucky. Tom Matty, in scoring 3 touchdowns, tied an NFL championship game record, which the Browns' Gary Collins achieved in the '64 game. But today, the Colts did it with their incomparable defense, which shut out a team averaging 30 points per game. Finally, the Colts took revenge for the frustrating defeat of '64 and the earlier loss this season, while erasing the memory of last year that ended without reward. This year, the rewards may never end.